So, good evening.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are recording. Good evening, Alexis, Professor Hauser. I'm very glad to introduce you to our visitors, and I'm very happy that we were able to find a possibility to invite you to Vienna to come to teach a master course with us in next summer, in summer 2024. And I'm especially happy that we could find with you someone who is one of the last real Swarovski students and passing on the tradition of the true Viennese conducting school, and this makes us very proud. I'm so happy to find this possibility with you, and I would like to talk with you about the necessity of studying the Viennese classics, because we have chosen the repertoire, Second Symphony of Beethoven, the Third Symphony of Schubert, and the Second Chamber Symphony of Arnold Schoenberg. Tell us a little bit about the repertoire and why you chose this.
Well, as you said already, first of all, thank you so much for your kind introduction and for introducing me. As you already mentioned, these are three composers. Two of them actually were Viennese, and Beethoven was so quasi the person from outside coming to Vienna. But the reason is very much pedagogical. The Second Symphony is sometimes a little bit underrated because it was before the Eroica, but it was already an enormous step towards the Eroica and far away from the first symphony in many ways. It has, among all the symphonies of Beethoven, the longest introduction, and that's an introduction, which has quite some complications, which a conductor must really skillfully overcome. Then, of course, it has already also a sonata form in the Allegro, the first movement, where Beethoven extends. People still call it coda, but what actually happens after the recapitulation is almost like a second development. And then the way he started more and more in the Eroica is incredible. He really makes the sonata form more a two-part form. Mm-hmm. Exposition, development, and recapitulation, development, and a very short coda. And of course, then you have this wonderful second movement, the Larghetto, where the tempo question and the pulse is so important. 3/8, we write it in 3/8, and at the same time, of course, the pulse is actually a dotted quarter, if you wish, for the whole bar. And this has often been misunderstood also because the title is Larghetto, but Larghetto is not a Largo.
Actually, Larghetto is not Largo, yeah. Actually, yeah.
It's not a Largo at all. I mean, it is one of these works, and you could demonstrate it practically in all of the symphonies, that the metronome numbers he gives are extremely thought of, and it's not so much the number is not the most important thing, but the pulse he gives to the number is so incredibly important. Yeah. So often he writes the pulse for a whole bar, so often. And of course, if you don't feel it like that, or if you conduct it, or you don't conduct it like it gets a totally different meaning.
Totally different piece, yeah.
Yeah, totally different piece. Then the third movement is tricky, if you wish, from a conductor's point of view, which is and so there's it's a lot to be learned. And the last movement, for some reason, I often found the most Mozartian in the way which Beethoven ever wrote. I mean, I feel a devotion to Mozart. I can't help it. I think it's the melodic flow of it,
but it has a lot of lightness as well. I think it has of a lightness, a very powerful lightness. Yeah. Light, but very dynamic, yeah. Mm.
And when you, yes, it's such a positive work. When you think about it, he wrote it at the time when he wrote his testament, das Heiligenstädter Testament, the same time when he already knew that he's going to have this severe problem with hearing. But such a positive, wonderful work. And I find it, when you see it in connection with the First Symphony, where the introduction more or less is a stepping, trying to find the tonality. I mean, it starts in a subdominant cadence. You never really reach the tonic of the C major until you come to the Allegro, and then it's only in piano. Now look at the Second Symphony. He's right there with D major, right there. the total opposite. I mean, it simplifies from the beginning. Whatever Beethoven did from one piece to the next, it was something totally different. Even though, I mean, you feel the authenticity of him in every bar, but it really something completely new. And this is fascinating. So I thought that this Second Symphony is a wonderful choice. Now to Schubert. Schubert died only, as we all know, he died only 1 year after Beethoven. He was in a way conservative, if you wish, as a symphonist, because he was not quite so, I don't want to say sure or secure, but it was not his main thing. I mean, he was the greatest song composer ever, and yet the symphonies are magnificent, absolutely magnificent. And the Third Symphony, again, it has an interesting introduction and a beautiful movement. Here again, one has to be careful to get a good tempo for the second movement. Also not too slow. I think in the third movement, there are moments where you can show a little bit fantasy with tasteful rubato. He was, after all, a composer who composed very much from the piano, you know, from the piano concert. Beethoven not. I mean, he may have said that the piano, but the thinking was so orchestral. It's just incredible. And Schoenberg, never to forget, I mean, Schoenberg really somehow inhaled the classic to such a large extent. The conservative revolutionary, as he was sometimes.
Actually, Egon Welles, who was one of his first students, and he wrote a biography, a book about Schoenberg. Although he didn't follow his way, don't want to say dogma, but he didn't follow the idea. But he said he was the very best imaginable teacher for the classical principles of composing. He was the best teacher imaginable for that. Yeah, he was, and Schoenberg really knew.
Also when you read some of his books, particularly Style and Idea, Stil und Idee in Dutch, Style and Idea, I mean, what a mind. What an incredible mind. And the way he writes like a poet almost. As a Harmonielehre is a work of art, even from the way it is written. So fantastic. I mean, obviously he was a phenomenal teacher. And of course, my teacher, Swarovski, often talked about him. And when he analyzed in the class, for instance, Brahms' Symphony No. 3, you know, and he always said, look, guys, what I'm telling you is not from me. This is from Schoenberg. I'm only delivering what I learned from him. So this whole idea, you know, to understand a large work by you going from one section to a next, put this as a unit, but bring it in connection all the time, in connection with what, in a way, relates to it. This is fantastic, and this gives you.
And how lucky we are to be able. Sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, but I didn't hear
what did you say? How lucky we are that we are able to draw a line from Schoenberg to Swarovski and to this. Hopefully, the students will understand how close they come to this. I wouldn't say tradition, but this mindset, this knowledge about our profession and about the the material we are working with. This is so great, really. It's
Yeah,
fantastic.
it has a lot to do with it, how you start to study a score.
Yeah.
This is so important, and for that I'm very grateful that I really through Swarovski, I must say, you know, I was able to build on that,
Yeah.
what he gave us. Because for me, studying a masterwork, you know, is almost the biggest joy of the whole thing, because the moment you have to realize it, you know, as wonderful as it is to be performing is fantastic. But in some way, you know, you never reach everything. It's impossible. I mean, there's always something which could be better, and then you also grow and see things differently. If some years later, and it may be smaller things, you know, or you look into a work which you think you know already very well, you know, and you see again new connections which you may have overlooked or didn't think about it before.
It's for the life. It's for the whole life. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I'm very happy. I'm so happy, and I can't forgive myself that we didn't meet earlier. I wanted to have you with us since years, and just a lucky uh, coincidence brought us together last summer, and now we are looking forward to have you with us. And all the informations are available on the website. And I will post it on in YouTube in the comments where the students will find the exact information about the course. And yeah, it will be in a historic environment, in an architectural jewel, the Otto Wagner Areal, and we will have a wonderful orchestra of Vienna musicians. So welcome everyone, and hopefully you come from all over the world to see and to study with us. Thank you very much, Alexis. We are much looking forward.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Great pleasure.
Yeah, likewise.